What's the most disturbing movie you ever watched? Audition 1999. A Japanese horror film directed by Takashi Miike. It is about a widower whose son suggests that he should find a new wife. He agrees, and with a friend, stages a funny audition to meet a potential new life partner. It's most remarkable that it wasn't promoted as a horror, and doesn't make that turn until halfway through. The DVD cover of my copy feature the woman whose name escapes me with a syringe, and review excerpts about how scary it is. We all know what it is now, and I'm kind of gutted that I didn't get to experience it as Japanese viewers did on its release. Still rough though. Fun fact, the famous kiri 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 wasn't in the script. It was improvised, and is now the most memorable line from the movie. Degeral. 2 teens break into an abandoned mental asylum and repeatedly rape a vampire. Edit Woe replies, yeah, I guess she was a zombie. The kids do call her a vampire and a zombie in the movie. If you think the premise is bad, wait till you see the ending. Pink Flamingus. Messed up scene after scene. It ends with Divine eating dog poo. Hey, that's the least disturbing thing in the whole movie. There is an Australian movie made in mockumentary style called 237. It is so good, but also horribly scarred me. It is about a girl that kills herself at school and has a very graphic scene of her cutting her wrists. But the whole movie is about all the other students who are all going through different traumas and dealing with stuff in their lives, and how you can get so focused on your own life. You can miss the warning signs in other people, and sometimes you don't know until it's too late. It's such a good movie, but as someone who has dealt with mental health issues it's very hard to watch, but I also appreciate it. Thread's a British movie made in 1984 about a nuclear war and its terrible aftermath in the English city of Sheffield. It gave me nightmares, not for goriness or anything, but for how matter of fact it was. I saw it on PBS in 1985 and never want to see it again. Rosemary's Baby. It's about the titular woman moving to New York with her actor husband. Turns out the neighbors are Satanists and her husband made a deal with the devil to become successful. So the devil rapes and impregnates Rosemary in a dream, which leads her to suspect that her baby may not be normal, which leads to the whole movie featuring a pregnant woman having panic attacks and being either completely isolated or stalked by the neighbors and the devil itself. I felt ducking sick by the end. Happiness 1998. An American black comedy directed by Todd Solondz. The film portrays the lives of 3 sisters, their families, and those around them. I cannot say more without ruining it. What I can say is that I watched this film with a group of 5, maybe 6 of my dearest friends, and we had no expectations about. We just heard it was good. Afterward, we sat in silence for a very long time. Suicide Circle 2001. A Japanese independent horror film directed by Simon Sono. 54 teenage schoolgirls in Tokyo commit mass suicide by throwing themselves in front of an oncoming train. Shortly after, at a hospital, 2 nurses commit suicide by jumping out of a window. At both locations, right after the suicides occur, rolls of skin are found, with the skin in the rolls matching that of the bodies of the dead. I guess the most generic kind of disturbing would be the August Underground series. I actually liked them and thought they were fun for just intentionally being straight up trash, or those shitty totally not fun Lucifer Valentine vomit gore movies. God, I hate that guy. But the ones that really deeply upset me the most are Come and See 1985 and Threads 1984. Some violence but mostly just intense misery. I would definitely recommend them. They're really wonderful films. Just leave you emotionally exhausted. Trauma. It's been described as a Chilean Serbian film. American History X. That curb scene destroys me to this day, and it's been more than a decade since I've seen it. Blue Velvet 1986. A neo-noir psychological thriller by the indomitable David Lynch. The film concerns a young college student who, returning home to visit his ill father, discovers a severed human ear in a field that leads to him uncovering a vast criminal conspiracy. A Serbian film. My coworker kept going on and on about the film to us at work when it first came out. A few of us decided to watch it since we all hung out after work, and that was a mistake. We never looked at our coworker the same after this. The weird thing is he would praise the film a lot. Dude had serious problems. Last time we ever heard from him, he had actually stopped working because he had his certification revoked. Never found out the reason why. Tideland 2005. A fantasy film co-written and directed by Terry Gilliam. It's an adaptation of the Mitch Cullen novel also called Tideland. Tideland centers on an abandoned child, Jeliza Rose, and her solitary adventures during one summer in rural Texas while staying at a rundown farmhouse called What Rocks. The film focuses on the increasingly dark, imaginative fantasy life the girl creates with the aid of dismembered Barbie doll heads that she often wears on her fingertips. I have two, but I've blocked the names from memory. One is about an Asian girl who keeps a man in a burlap sack in her house and tortures him, and the other one is about a woman that is kept in a box. Awful, nightmarish movies, and I have no idea why I watch them. Beyond the Curve. It's a documentary about people that believe the earth is flat. The belief that the earth is flat is not the disturbing part, although it is cringingly hard to watch. What is disturbing is learning that people will almost always choose their group's belief over direct evidence that their belief is incorrect. Multiply 2 Girls, 1 Cup 2007. It is technically a trailer for the film Hungry Bitches. All I can say is that I never made it to the film. In fact, I left the room within the first few seconds of the trailer. My friends thought they were being so funny showing me that. I assure you, I was not amused. Human Centipede. I mean, seriously, why would anyone think that was a good idea to make a movie out of? Teeth. It's about a young girl with teeth on her lady garden who accidentally kills any boy she hooks up with. I could only make it halfway through. That severed penis is forever burned in my memory. The Bridge. Documentary about the suicides completed at Golden Gate Bridge. Filmmakers were able to save some individuals, however, most were not. Trigger warning big time. I think The Girl Next Door, because that shit really happened. A Serbian film is just so over the top, kind of loses some of its power. Fractured. Disturbed the crap out of me. Kind of a weird movie the whole way through. Because this guy's in a hospital, and he sees them selling organs and stuff, and he thinks he's there for his daughter or something. I can't remember all the details, but at the end there was a twist I will not forget. Terrible movie and great movie at the same time. Deliverance. I was watching it for the first time with my girlfriend. Also her first time, when the squeal like a piggy scene came on. That was 3 years ago. She's still mad at me and still hates the banjo. I don't ask her to watch a movie with me without checking Common Sense Media. Org now. Probably Blood-Sucking Freaks, an exploitation splatter film that follows a man running a local theater who tortures people on stage in his productions. But the audience thinks it's all clever special effects. It was shot under the title Sadu, Master of the Screaming Virgins, and retitled The Incredible Torture Show during its original run in theaters. It's a pretty disturbing watch, not just from the torture bits and certainly not for the squeamish. I Spit on Your Grave. The movie's about a woman who is repeatedly and graphically gang-upped by a group of men, and towards the end of the movie the woman gets her revenge by killing all the men that assaulted her. Sadly, I was forced to watch this movie as my dad wanted to watch it for family movie night. Yeah. Any of the August Underground movies. August Underground, August Underground Mordom, August Underground's Penance. Seriously ducked up movies. Martyrs. This gal is tortured in order to break her so she could see God. The people doing the torturing had that theory at least, but no one has survived it until this girl. It's super rough. She gets skinned alive and survives it. Hereditary for sure. It creeped me TF out much more than any ordinary horror movie because there was some creepy shit happening in the corners of the screen that I haven't even realized the first time I watched it. For your information, I rarely watch horror movies, so this was tough for me after years of horror-free movies. 2 weeks after I watched it, and I was still unintentionally checking the ceiling corners. The butterfly effect. The concept is really interesting. Can someone, by changing one action, change the future? But the execution is just gruesome. With every change in history, it becomes significantly worse up until the point that the narrator believes that his friends are better off without him ever being born. And that's true. It's horrific. Hereditary. I was so restless with this non-stop feeling of internal dread for a week after watching. It's not at all a jump scare type horror film. The best way I could describe it is emotional agony. The Ring. I watched this when I was 8 years old, and I still remember it to this day. It was made worse because my sister knew I was watching this movie and decided to play a prank on me. She brought a phone next to me at the end, claiming she wanted to use the TV. Then she had a friend call at the right time, had me answer it, and in a creepy voice the friend told me I was going to die in 7 days. Suffice to say, I was scared as shit for the next 7 days. My primary hobby is collecting disturbing films, the most grotesque and horrid stuff around. Compared to a lot of what I've got on physical media makes what a lot of people here sound like children's shows. So, here's the worst of what I've got. How to Clear a Room in 90 Minutes Gore mixtape includes suicides, murders of people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. Lucius Gore mixtape of mostly suicides and self-harm. Rare a dead body mixtape of close-ups of corpses in different stages of death. Traces of Death 1, 5- suicides, murders, autopsies, surgery, beatings set to a death metal soundtrack after movie 1. Martyrs, just a straight up depressing film about child abuse and mental illness with some intense gore segments. August Underground Modern Penance trilogy centering around serial killers documenting their life and the violence they partake in. First movie opens up with a naked woman with one nipple being beaten and her dead boyfriend's corpse being shown off where you can see his penis has been chopped off. Carving the cadaver. I have a collector's set. 3 discs collection of autopsy footage from about 40 years worth of footage. Click subscribe. If you enjoyed this video,